Reasons why I hate being trans. Number one. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, I thought that I would make a video discussing what my experience is like being trans and the not so great parts about it. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. Don't like critique everything that I'm saying right now and like cancel me in like 5 years for this. I don't have a script prepared. This is kind of not like, it's not a rant per se, but it's just like I'm just like kind of talking. So if I like don't say everything 100% like how I am internalizing like how I should say it, like just like don't beat me up for it. I'm kind of just gonna be sharing my experience, just like going with the flow and seeing where it takes me. I am very fortunate to live in a time where I can be myself and not inherently suffer as much safety concerns as people who not even 10 years ago, like 10 years ago, were struggling with, and the persecution and discrimination. There is still a lot of that now, and that is kind of like what I want to talk about in today's video. But I am, again, very fortunate that I live in a time where, I can transition safely and I can live my life to the fullest. And I don't regret being trans. That said, I would not wish this life upon anyone. Being trans is incredibly hard, and it is a very, very difficult way of life that a lot of people don't have to face. And I kind of want to touch up on a lot of the areas in which I think that I I wouldn't say it's suffer because I don't really want to play the victim card, but a lot of areas in which I do struggle with um when it comes to being trans. And I don't want to like I don't want to play like the identity card or anything, but like I do feel like there is a lot of things that I as a trans person will face that, someone who is not trans will not. And I want to talk about it in this video. Being trans is incredibly hard, especially in a social environment. I hate telling people that I'm trans, especially like people that I am interested in, which I will touch on later, but especially friends and just people in general, because I don't really like I guess like how it rolls off the tongue, like just being like I'm trans. Like it feels weird to even say that sometimes because honestly, this like might come as a shock, but like I don't wake up every day and be like, oh, like I'm trans. Like I really only ever like am like, oh wait, like I'm trans, like when I have to like tell someone, or like when it gets brought up in discussion, or when there's topics surrounding it. I don't really think about it all the time. And I feel like a lot of people, they like just expect you to tell everyone right away, right away, right away. But it's like, it's not really always on the forefront of my mind. And I'm sorry, but like, you can never win. It's like either you make it your whole personality, right? And you're just saying, like, I'm trans. And then people attack you for that. But then people attack you for not even saying anything at all. So it's like, you can never win. You really can never win. And um, that's kind of annoying. Then again, I feel like being trans has made me such a strong person in the sense that, you know, I have to have a lot more confidence and a way tougher shell than, someone who might not be trans, because a lot of people, attack you simply for just being trans and simply breathing air. And it's like, someone who isn't trans isn't inherently gonna experience that. Like if you're your biological gender and sex, like if they align, right, then you aren't really gonna have to suffer that um I guess like witch hunt. I don't really know how else to put it. Another thing that I also hate uh about being trans is how when you tell someone you're trans, of course, like I'm down for questions, but a lot of the time the first thing that people say is very, I wouldn't say inherently hurtful, but it is very uncomfortable. And especially the way that they phrase things. Like if I tell a guy that I'm trans, usually like the first thing they'll say is like, "Oh, so you're a dude?" question mark. Or they'll be like, "Oh, can I see it?" Or they'll be like, "Oh, so do you still have like, a eggplant emoji, right?" And it's just like, is that really like all you care about? Like, is that like, is there nothing more? Like, has talking and like everything like not really meant anything? Like, you were attracted to me and everything, we were vibing, and it's like that's the only thing that you care about. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like disheartening. And it just makes me feel like I'm really just defined by like my body to a lot of people when it's like I can't really control that, you know? Another thing that I noticed with being trans, especially like when you're telling a guy, even if you're like not even trying to flirt with them or anything, you're just like talking to them and you're telling them, they'll be like, "Oh, like now that you can say that, now that you see that, like I can see that." And it's like, what do you mean by that? Because at the end of the day, no matter how feminine someone is or how masculine they are, they always will have the other traits. You know what I mean? You can be as feminine as possible, but you'll still have like the slightest bit of masculinity. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. And it's just like, you didn't really know that I was trans. You're just saying that because I told you now, and you're looking at like features that could be like, oh, like, your eyebrows are thicker. So maybe, yeah, like that, like I can see it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a little bit of an annoyance. And honestly, it does trigger my gender dysphoria. But at the end of the day, I can't really do anything about it. When it comes to social things and like telling my friends that I was trans, obviously, like, I keep good friends around and people that support me, and they have been nothing but nice and accepting and everything of that. And obviously, they ask questions. But a lot of the things that they ask is like towards like surgeries and everything. And it's like, I don't really feel like I need surgery per se. Like, I don't think I look that bad. Like, I'm not a 10 out of 10. Like, obviously, like, I really do struggle with my appearance, and I really do wish that I was prettier. And like, that's not me fishing for compliments. I just am so insecure because sometimes I feel like, oh, like maybe if I was prettier, I would be worthy of love. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm slowly starting to realize that despite like that belief, like even though like I feel like because I'm trans, like sometimes I just like don't deserve love. And that's something that's really um hard for me sometimes because obviously like I think everybody is deserving of love as long as you're like a good sane person. But I don't know, like a lot of times when I do find a guy that is my type or something, they're either really far away or they don't want anything serious, or, they don't accept me for being trans, but they still want to like hook up. And it's like, it just really like beats you down over time. And it's like, I just want love. Like, I really just want to find my person. And I thought I did recently. And I messed that up by being insecure, and that's a reflection of me, like trying not to cry, but um that's a reflection of me. um but at the end of the day, it's just so hard when people, specifically like when I'm trying to like romantically pursue a guy and everything's great, and then I tell them, and mind you, I tell people pretty quickly, but it's still like obviously like a knife to the heart because it's like I can't change this. Like, I didn't ask to be trans. Okay? Like, trust me, like, I came out around 12, 11, whatever. And I, would constantly pray nightly, like, I don't want to be trans. I don't want to be trans. I don't want to be trans. Like, please, God, please, God, please, God. And I would pray constantly, and nothing changed. Nothing changed. And I am slowly starting to like accept the fact that I have to, have more self-love and, you know, be kinder to myself, and I can't beat myself up for being trans. But it's so hard when we live in a society that, you know, dehumanizes trans people and just like attacks us for simply like existing. And, a lot of times too, like I'll get to this when I hate being trans, because a lot of people, like when they're talking about trans people, they'd be like a trans, and it's just, it feels very dehumanizing because it's like you're referring to us as like an object or like something that's not human. Like you're not going to be like, that's like, like I don't know, like it's just like it just feels very weird to say that. It's like you can't say a trans like grammatically, that just sounds wrong too. So I don't know, like that's just always been like an ick when people say that. Another thing too is people that do know that you're trans, like for example, in school, like I'm in college, like there are probably a fair share of people that know now that I am trans because obviously, like I've told people, I've had, romantic encounters with people after that I would tell them that I am trans and like we would be talking after that. And, sometimes it doesn't work out. And then, for example, you'll see them at a party or something and people will spread the word that you're trans. I'm in college and all my friends want me to go out and party with them. Personally, I'm not even a fan of that, but I would love to just go and socialize with my friends. But there's been times, and I've heard this and I've seen this in real time, where, people know that I'm trans from like a friend or like they themselves would literally know because I've told them firsthand. And somebody would want to approach me and they'll be like, oh, like, just so you know, like, that's a dude. And it's like that's like not really your place to say. It's like I don't understand like why you feel the need to like air someone's business out that like that. Like another thing that I also noticed within not only just like the trans community itself, but like within society is like you have to be ethereal level beauty or pretty or handsome, whatever it is, to even be like treated and respected as a human being. I feel like a lot of like the brick dolls, which if you don't know, that basically means that someone that's not as past passing in the trans community, or someone who's like very clocky, like clock it, you probably heard that before, basically means like you can tell that someone's trans, right? And those types of people, like you see it all the time on the internet, like people are like ripping them to shreds because they don't like pass to an extent, but it's like it's not really something that you can like control. Also too, a lot of these people that aren't so passing, like they can't really control it. And when they are putting in the work, like they are on HRT, hormone replacement therapy, there's other things like surgeries that these people like can't afford because a lot of the times it's not even covered. And even then, they're just trying their best to make ends meet at the end of the day. In this economy, like hello, like another thing in regards to the internet, it is so painful to just have to see a bunch of like lives and a bunch of debates and a bunch of news titles and a bunch of laws and a bunch of bills and a bunch of meetings literally discussing if I literally can have a freedom, to express myself and be myself. It is so disheartening that my own livelihood and my own life is kind of getting debated when I just don't really think that it's that deep. Like, it's like, so what if someone's trans? So what if someone's gay? So what if someone's tall? So what if someone's short? So what if someone's white? So what if someone's black? Like, it doesn't matter. And I feel like a lot of people get wrapped up in these antics because I don't think that's the right word, but they get wrapped up in these like things because it does spark a lot of debate. And a lot of people, do have heated opinions on these. But it does get really rough, because I would love to be a content creator. I would love to, bring joy and, just stuff to the internet and be like that person for someone, like their comfort YouTuber. Like that's always been part of my dream. Like I would also love to model, and a lot of the things that like I feel like I want to do in this world are hindered by the fact that I'm trans. Like I would love to be an actress. I would love to be in a horror movie. But, like what are the odds that a director would cast like someone that's trans, And I don't think per se I look that bad or that I'm clocky per se, but I'm still so painfully insecure and introverted that I myself wouldn't want to put myself out there to even try because I hate the fear of rejection. And I have, kind of put myself out there. Like I am doing YouTube, which is a big step for me. But it's just really hard to be vulnerable, especially as a trans person, because I feel like when you are vulnerable, if you say like one slip up or if you don't say something right, like people will scrutinize you and you'll literally be ripped to threads. So it's very hard. Another thing I want to touch on is back to the dating thing. It's so hard for me to find someone that is my type that is also like attracted to me. I feel like I'm not inherently picky per se. Obviously, like I have standards and like I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to. Like, I would like someone like a little taller than me, like, I'm 5'10", and someone older because, I like older men, but I'm not too old. Like I'm 19, so ideally like a year or two older, but anyways, hit me up. I'm single. No, not literally. But well, I am, but like, yeah. So, anyways, but like back to like what I was saying, like it's just so hard to find that. And I'm not saying that there aren't, because there are a lot of men that I have talked to, like before knowing that I'm trans and after knowing that I'm trans that have been like attracted to me. But you know, keeping that connection and having it stick, like when we live in a generation that is so fueled with like having a roster and like I'm such a lover girl at heart, and it's just so hard for me to like even talk to more than one person at once. But it's like, you know, if you're not playing the field, you're gonna get played. So it's like really hard. And it's just when I do find someone that is my type, they tend to be very far away or something, or, you know, like it just doesn't end up working out. Not because, you know, they're a bad person, but sometimes, you know, you can be attracted to someone, but, you know, you just don't really click. And that's also just as important. And you know, I'm only 19, and people say to me all the time, like, Jade, you're so beautiful, you're a good person, you'll find someone. But like, I low key feel like I'm running out of time. And I know that's like weird to say because, like, again, I'm only 19, but like, I want my grandma to like be at my wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to have a wedding so that she can see it. I want to be able to fall in love and live my youth with someone and, you know, go through all stages of life with them. And sometimes I just feel undeserving of that because I am trans. And it's really hard because when I did have someone that did really love me, I self sabotaged because I was insecure and because of all the things that people are so hateful. And I was scared that, like, him being with me, like, he'll get attacked or scrutinized. And that's something that I see on the internet all the time is like people that date trans people or just stuff, they get attacked, or like, I don't know, like people call them names and like they're like, oh, you're gay. And like, it's just like, I would not want the person I love to have to suffer because of me or because they're with me. And I just I just don't know. I also feel like I don't really have like the luxury of like going up to a guy and being like, "Hey, like I think you're cute. Like, can I get your number?" And that does come from a place of like very low self confidence because again, I don't really have self confidence. And I just personally, like, this might be a hot take, I don't see the point in having confidence if I'm not a 10 out of 10, which I know I'm not. And honestly, like, I don't think I'm like the worst looking per se, but I don't also don't want to have like an ego. And it's like, especially with women in general and stuff, like, you know, if you're ugly but um you know, like kind of play the like, oh, I'm so ugly, like people shower you with compliments and stuff. Same thing if you're pretty and you're like, oh, I just like, I'm not pretty, people shower you with compliments. But the moment someone who's, whether they're average, unattractive, or attractive, specifically as a woman, says they're like, you know, I feel good today, I look good, I feel pretty, people dog on you for having that confidence. So it's like you can never win. And people are just so hateful for no reason. And it's just like, so what? Like, so what? And I don't know. Personally, there are some things that I wish that I could change about myself. I haven't had any surgeries, but I just sometimes don't even feel attractive enough to pull someone that I find attractive, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel like I'm in their league. And I've heard all the time, like, yes, you are. But it's like, you know, when you have that, you know, instilled in your mind because of society and how the world is, it's really hard to break that. And even through therapy sessions, it's so hard to, you know, build that confidence up and break being insecure. And I hate to be that person, but like, again, like, I'm such a hopeless romantic and I'm such like a lover girl. And obviously there's more that I want in life. Like, I am in college and I am very happy with what I'm doing, but there's so many dreams and aspirations I have outside of love. But part of me is like, I just really want to be loved wholeheartedly and find my person. But I just feel like I might not ever be able to. But of course, I am very happy. Don't get this wrong. Like, I am very happy that, you know, I did transition. I am living my life to the fullest in a lot of aspects. It's just a lot of the hardships that come from being trans are from other people's perspective and opinion on you, because it does kind of shape, your self-confidence. And, it is very hurtful, especially as a trans person, when people are like ripping on you for simply existing every single day in all aspects of life. And I just feel like, especially with the dating world, it is probably where I struggle the most with being trans. Um, but again, like I am very happy with who I am. I'm very happy that I transitioned, and I don't want that to get twisted. Like, I don't regret this. That said, I would not wish this upon anyone because it is very hard sometimes. And you have to have a really tough soul, for this to not break you, because there have been times where I have just bawled out crying. And also, too, there have been times where it's like I was scared to even like make friends. And I still kind of am, but I think that's just because I'm shy. But I just like am so scared that other people will judge me for this. And it is really hard. And I'm so, so thankful for the friends that I have, and their support, and how they really don't give a fuck. Like, they really don't care that I am trans. And I rather have like two friends that love me and support me unconditionally than 200 friends that are like low-key talking shit about me behind my back. But that's just my belief. Like, at the end of the day, I don't even have to, like, in terms of like content, I don't even have to be famous. I don't inherently have to be, celebrity level or anything. As long as I have like a group of community that I can talk to, they can talk to me, we can all feel safe and just like loved and everything. Like, I feel like that's so wholesome. And then I personally would feel like my life goal in the terms of social media and stuff would be achieved. That said, of course, I would love to, blow up and everything, but sometimes I feel like being trans might hinder that. And you know what it is, but there's nothing I can do about that. And I have struggled for the longest time talking openly about it. And that's also partially why I struggled so long to do YouTube, because I don't want to be judged for it. And judgment really does break me down, especially because I am so insecure about this, because I can't control this. Like, that's why I hate when people say, like, oh, it's a choice. Oh, it's a choice. It's really not, because I would not have chosen this for myself. Like, it chose me in a sense, and I am so happy that I am, trans, and that I am, living my life. But sometimes I feel like in certain aspects of my life, it is harder, if that makes sense. That said, you guys, I think this is going to be the end of the video. I, again, don't scrutinize me for, if I didn't say something or word it completely correctly. This is just like a rant. I'm sorry. I kind of was all over the place as well. Um, and again, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. I obviously would love to hear them, especially for a video like this. And if you want to see any more of my content, be sure to check out my Twitch and my Instagram, which is linked in my bio, or not, I'll put it up on the screen. I have been streaming a lot on Twitch, a lot of video games, and I have been posting a lot on Instagram. And you guys are always free to like message me. And if you ever want to play video games, I'm always down. I would love to, have some gamer friends, 18 plus, shoot me a message. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy Pride Month.